I left FIFA 4 years ago. And if FIFA hasn't left me, not my fault. Not my fault. So I said very early, I am in no way concerned about the FIFA scandal. I am in no way concerned about the US application for my tradition. That doesn't bother me. I find it very strange that Prakash Ramada, of all persons, would of course call upon me to skip the hearing in the local courts and go straight to the US. My friends, I am not the first financier of this People's Partnership Government for whom an application was made for extradition. I'm not the first. There were, before me, there have been financiers before me for whom the US made application for extradition. I'm not the first. I want my day in court. I want my day in court. And after presenting my side of the argument, I want the courts to decide. This is what we, this country, are used to. Chairman said so a while ago. I don't want any chairman of any integrity commission to try to free me through any back door. I want a judge to say yes or no. And if the court say I go, then I go. And if the court say I stay, then I stay.
You can't help but have this fun. Ever since this FIFA drama started, maybe every 2 or 3 days, if you don't hear from another person, you must hear from one man, the eighth wonder of the world, as we know him in this part of the country. That man is Jack Warner. I want my day in court. If they want me to go, I go. If they want me to stay, I stay. It has gone to that level where every blessed day something new, something upsetting happens about, concerning FIFA. The director of communications, somebody said he resigned. He was asked to leave, after his very costly joke, if I might say so. And then during the course of the week also, the Interpol said, FIFA, keep your money first, which we use and investigate the match fixing. So it's like FIFA is gradually turning into a pariah, organization. Everybody is trying to hands off. I said, man, you are on your own. But I tell you in the studio, I am not on my own because I have a full house. I have my family around. I'm starting with Jimmy.
Interesting. Interesting. First time you're starting with me. Almost the first. It's a pleasure to be here. Like you said about FIFA, it's been something we all have followed for a long while. A lot of us had felt that the corruption in there had been something that called for concern and should have been, brought out the way it has a lot more earlier. But good enough, we've seen that the revolution that was needed was always, very needful at this point in time. It wasn't about evolution, it was about revolution. Okay. And it's good that...
I wanted to ask that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's got to be about revolution. Okay. It's great to be here.
All right, Yemi.
Good afternoon, viewers. It's good to be here. Flying Eagles on the 20. Are we jinxed? When are we going to be able to break that? When are we going to be able to win that championship? We went to that particular tournament with a team touted to be the best ever.
The future.
The future. They've never lost any game preceding that tournament. But unfortunately, they lost the first game against Brazil. And again, the Germans sent us home. A sad one.
Okay, before I get to CC, actually, when the Flying Eagles were beaten, CC was so sure that we are going to send Australia back. I said, look, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to. She was looking forward to the Falcons playing.
To the girls, at least salvaging a bit of hope.
CC, what really happened?
Of course, I looked forward to the game. And of course, they played the game. And of course, the Super Falcons lost. Okay, just 2 goals to nothing. It wasn't really a big deal.
Just.
Okay. They lost the game. But all hope is not lost. If you calculate it mathematically, the girls can still qualify. Now, to the question of what happened that night. Sometimes you are not always at your best all the time. That was what happened to the Super Falcons that night. You know, you expect some of the players to really be at their best, you know, bring in their shooting boots and all that, but it wasn't really there. You know, when you look at the Australians, when they played against the Americans, you know, the Americans were lucky to have won that game because when it comes to pace, the Australians were very fast. So that was the problem the Super Falcons had. They couldn't really curtail them like what they did to the Swedish national team. So after that first game that gave them balance, they were thinking, okay, Australians, who are they when it comes to world football? They were thinking about the fact that if we could hold on to Sweden, I mean, we didn't lose to them, then against Australia, we'll definitely get a win. I think that was what they had at the back of their mind before they went into that game, and on getting there, they saw something different. And if you look at the Australians, all over the years, they've actually improved. You know, the first edition, they were not there. The second and the third one, they couldn't even win the game. Now, the third one, when it came in, they managed a draw. And the last two editions that they played, 2007 and 2011, they've been to the quarterfinals. So it shows that there's a progression in that. But we've not really had that in the Super Falcons. Instead of that progression, they're kind of having, okay, been to the quarterfinals 1999, and after that, it's been group stage all through, and even getting to win a game has always been difficult. So they've not really built on what they achieved in the previous years. But I think against the Australians were practically a better side on that night. Super Falcons were really not so there at all.
Ken, sorry, a quick one. I think the Falcons on doing in that game against Australia was their attitude. They drew the match against Sweden. They never saw themselves achieving that kind of feat, and it got into their head. Yeah. I think they didn't. They became overconfident. They didn't prepare well. Instead of
the case of the tempo becoming difficult.
Exactly, because you see, because of
preparation.
I think that's
I'm trying to agree.
I would say
general
they didn't
preparations.
prepare
That's
well.
different. But on that game, you know, when you win your first game, or when you win
your first game and you begin to celebrate.
Okay. It gives you that joy. You feel okay. If I'm facing another opponent,
that kind of celebration is called the premature celebration.
Hello, let us take it this way. Sisi, granted, you are a bit disappointed. I'm not saying we are not. I think you are more disappointed than each and every.
And you're taking it personal.
No, she's not taking it personal. But if I understand what Yemi is trying to say, is that when you say preparation, it is not just training. You look at your opposition. You pointed out here that the Australians, have pace, and they probably didn't take into consideration. If they did not, that means that preparation was lacking in that particular, aspect, probably. So, I just believe, like you said, I don't want to say about this drawing board thing, but when they come back, we've been there from 1991. We have qualified for all the World Cup, and then look at Sisi telling us here that Australia, that are just in newcomers, have started chucking the quarterfinal positions.
Growth in our football, in our
we will look at that, but like you said,
that's another story for another day.
If we don't want to look at that today, we won't be able to achieve.
Our narrative as regards that is nothing to write about.
We'll take a day and just devote it to the female football, and we'll look at the league, like you said, which is where it's supposed to start from, and we'll look at also the quality of coaching. I mean, the remuneration. Everything has to do with the female league.
You know, we mentioned something. I mentioned something here last week. I said, you see, as far as preparation for this tournament is concerned, to me was zero. There is a
somebody talked about surprising the world, shocking the world.
There is a level to which your personal determination can take you.
You can't give what you don't have.
It's a team game. You can't give what you don't have. How many friendly matches did the Falcons play before that game? But after that 3-3 draw with Sweden, everybody seems to be carried away. Falcons were going to bring home the cup. Now that's a shocker. Yes, we're back to reality.
Okay, back to life. Okay, we're back to reality. Sisi, Edwin Okon says we must qualify. What is the possibility? Before I take on, we'll come to you later on at home. We'll open the line so that you can contribute in most of these things we're discussing about, most of the issues we are dissecting here. The coach of the Super Falcons, the man says, even with their 1 point and then playing almighty USA, he says the team must, he used the word must qualify. So we'll look at the possibility or probability, whatever permutation and combination that might take them there. We also look at the under-20. The under-20, when Nigeria was beaten by the Germans, the next opponents, we found out that they were to play Mali. And some of us actually asked you, I mean, do you think that the Malians can avenge that and restore Africa's pride? 90% of us thought no, but we forgot that, you know, that these guys did beat Nigeria. So the Malians sent out the Germans. And then the Senegalese too. Nobody was looking at their side. By the time they, you know, they are now in the semi-final, we know that, yes, these are teams. So Africa has, you know, a 50% chance of winning the under-20. Of course, the next teams are the Brazilians and then the Portuguese. Those are, you know, that made up all teams. So we'll also like to hear from you to see, is it possible that that cup will come back to Africa? Only one African team has won it. Ghana. That is when Africa hosted, right?
91.
No, when Africa hosted, no, in Egypt.
In Egypt.
Yes. So we look at that, and then possibly talking about football today. The Super Eagles started on the winning note 2-0. Are you satisfied? Which area do you think they can improve? This is the first team. Most players were seen it for the very first time. But then, do we have a team in the making if it is not a ready-made material?